Happy Wednesday, guys. Today's home workout is an AMRAP 12, 6 and 6 kettlebell push presses, 12 alternating jumping lunges, and then 12 kettlebell swings. With this workout, first thing that comes to mind, your equipment. Grab just one object. You'll need just one object for this workout, something you're comfortable pressing overhead. With the kettlebell push presses, you'll do those presses on one side. That could be, if you have a dumbbell, you can use a dumbbell. You can go as far as like using a soup can as well, or a water jug that you have a handle on. You can kind of rest the water jug on the side, kind of acting like a kettlebell. You can do that for this workout. Then you're doing 6 and 6 per side, then once you finish those alternating jumping lunges, you're doing those kettlebell swings, and you're hanging on to the object with both hands. If you need to, and you can't really hold on with both hands, maybe grab it just with one, go 6 kettlebell swings with one arm, then 6 with the other. Goal with this is trying to keep a high intensity. So pick weights, progressions that'll allow you to keep a 90-second round or about 2 minutes at most. And you're trying to get 6 or more rounds done in the AMRAP 12 here. So I'd say this one's more of a leg dominant workout, especially with those jumping lunges and the kettlebell swings. So really try to manage your breathing and how fast you transition from movement to movement. And I would say near the end, at least try to see if you can push yourself to go unbroken if you were breaking it up in the beginning. But the kettlebell swings and the push press should be ideally done unbroken every single time. Maybe the jumping lunges you might need to break up once, but try to keep them unbroken as best as possible. After this workout, guys, we're gonna cool down with that saddle stretch, opening up those hips there. It's a great stretch for you guys to get into. Good to kind of mobilize those ankles as well. Hope you guys enjoy today's workout and afterburner. We'll see you guys next for the warm-up video. All right, guys, we're here for the warm-up. We're gonna start off with 60 bodyweight Russian twists. So you don't have to do them all unbroken. Break it up, sets of 20, sets of 30. You don't need to use any weight for this. Try and focus on really on that rotation when you're going to one side. So don't just try to reach with your arms or your hands. Try to reach with that upper body towards the direction that you're going. So you can challenge yourself by going legs straight here, or if you're new to it, keep your knees bent. But again, we're going to try and reach as much as we can to that one side, going for 60 reps. Every time you touch that side, that's going to count as 1 rep. So break it up if you need to, 60 reps to start off with. Then we're going to go into some single-legged deadlifts. You're going to go 15 reps per side. Use a weight here unless you're still trying to work on that balance with that single leg. You're going to grab that weight. The leg that's balancing on the floor, that's not going to be using the weight. So my right side is going to hold on to the weight. My left side is going to be doing the balancing. I'm going to hinge at the hips, send that leg straight back, and I'm going to come down as low as I can as long as I'm keeping that back nice and flat. Then I'm going to drive through that front leg to stand up. And as I'm doing that, I'm pushing my heel, pushing my full foot into the ground to really use my hamstring as I stand it up. So what it looks like again from the side, come down, come up, drive hard through that leg to activate that glute hamstring. Once you're done that, guys, we're going to go into some static lunges, but from a narrow stance. So I like to do these to kind of get the quads and the adductors activated. So pick a line on the floor. If you don't have a line, that's okay. See if you can keep your toes or your heels all in one straight line. You're going to drop that knee down so that it's about a fist away from that heel, so there's some gap in between. It's going to be a little bit of a balance act here. You're going to try and drive that leg up and then back down again. We're going to go for 15, the left leg forward, really trying to keep that balance by squeezing the inside of this leg and keeping that hip active on the back. Then we're going to do the same thing on that opposite leg, opposite stance, same idea, 15 static lunges from there. Once you're done that, you're going to grab a weight, you're going to go into restrict presses from an active lunge position. So we're going to keep that knee just slightly above the ground. We're going to take a lunge forward, get into that front rack position, 15 reps on that one side. Once you're done 15 reps, switch, and you do 15 reps on that opposite side. So this is going to challenge that core, guys, and that balance. Also, when you're doing that press, try not to rush through them. If you need to, do them in sets of 5 so that you can still also focus on that back, getting nice activation when you're overhead each time. So just one round of that, guys. Once you're done, we'll see you guys next for the workout movements. So for the push press, remember it's one continuous movement, so you're not re-dipping in the knees. Just make sure you squeeze those glutes, lock out those knees as you extend straight up. So if you go in single object, you can go 10 and 10 per side here. With that dip and drive, remember, as we're coming down, we want to stay nice and vertical. So we don't want to deviate that back angle at all. We want to keep it nice and straight, almost like as if I were leaning against that wall and I'm just going down with the length of the wall there, so I'm staying nice and straight. So think about that, guys. You're dipping down, staying nice and tall. Weight is going to be a little bit more in that heel as you're coming down. On the way up, guys, you're driving hard through the legs. As soon as we extend those legs, those knees, we're going to be driving that weight overhead. And again, once we're over here, squeeze your shoulder blades together, make sure they're backing down before you start that next rep. You can go continuously or you can stop in that front rack position if you need to reset. Remember, you're going to dip and drive up as I'm bringing it down. It's about an inch off my shoulder, about a centimeter there. I'm going to start dipping down so that I can start my next rep. So control the way down, getting ready, dip, going into that next rep. For alternating jumping lunges here, guys, you want to choose that progression that will make sure knee stays in that right track. It's not wobbling at all. So if you find jumping and alternating your feet in the air is a little bit too challenging, you're not that stable, just go for regular lunges. So regular lunges again, you want to step forward, keep that chin nice and vertical to the floor, chest nice and tall, and then driving off that front foot to stand it up every single time we do that rep. Again, as you come down, make sure the full foot is making contact with the floor and push off that heel as you stand it up. If you are comfortable and you can really keep that knee in a nice track, so what I mean by that is if you're here and that knee is wobbling a lot, use that static lunge instead, that way I just showed you, or you can do the jumping lunges, which would be coming out of that bottom of the lunge, we're going to jump up, switch our legs in the air as we do that. Notice I'm really keeping tension to keep that knee in the right spot every single time, squeezing the inside of my legs, my hamstrings, my glutes to maintain good positioning. So again, those 10 or those alternating lunges, alternating jumping lunges will look like this. Make sure you're finding that progression that works best for you and for the intent of the workout. That will be the alternating jumping lunge.
So for your kettlebell swings, something new that I want to talk about here, guys, that sometimes maybe we miss, we don't mention it enough, is your knee position. So I will see when the kettlebell's going down, things look awesome. As soon as you're about to shift your weight to go up, sometimes I'll see the knees shift. You may not even notice that. But when your knees shift, your weight is now transferring to mid foot to the front of the foot. So now I got my lifters on, but you can still see that the weight is off my heels. So now I'm pushing and driving my hips through my quads. So knee position on the rebound is very critical. So when you go back up, don't let your knees scoot forward too quickly, okay? Keep your knees somewhat back to create tension in those hamstrings to get everything out of your hips, but coming from the hamstring opposed to your quad. This is such a common problem that is seen on Olympic lifts, whether it be the jerk, whether it be the clean or snatch. This is your time where you can fix that knee position, which is, for an Olympic lift, is that second pull, when you're transitioning from the first to second pull. Now, if that's too complicated, or you're not sure what that means, ignore me, just focus on the knee position on your kettlebell swing stick. Okay, let's cool off here again with some stretching, a 2-minute stretch of the saddle stretch. Feel free to use an object to support you. It could be yoga blocks. I got my friend Wilson here. So I'm gonna use that to demonstrate the progression. But if you don't need that, you don't have to use it. So saddle stretch here, guys. You wanna start by first, you're upright, squeeze your butt. Notice, I don't know if you guys can see it, notice my hip, I have that tilt in my hip. I wanna tuck my pelvis in before I sit down to make sure that my hip's in a better position. From there, always double check. Can you squeeze the glute? You need to shuffle around, kind of reset your hip and pelvis position. If that feels good, now you can start working your way down. The intent in area focus here is to not just stretch your quads, get a little bit of hip flexor. I know for myself, if I'm not feeling too tight in that area, I actually start getting my groin a little bit as well, just because I'm squeezing my glutes the entire time. So squeeze your butt as you go down. Now, you can use that object behind you to support. Notice the difference. I'm not activating my glutes, I'm activating my glutes. That's gonna protect your low back, so squeeze your bum, keep your core tight. If this feels okay and you're looking to progress it a little further, drop down to the elbows. Okay, again, anytime you drop down in progression, you're squeezing your glutes. If that feels fine, take it to the floor, guys. Squeeze your bum, keep your core slightly active. Hang out there for 2 minutes, find that progression. Maybe you're progressing within the 2 minutes. When you come back up, guys, use those arms so it doesn't hurt your back, guys, and prop yourself back up. And 2 minutes, when you find that stretch that you like, start repeating it a little bit more throughout the week, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.